Thanks for tuning in. I wanted to do a quick video guide for you guys that talks about some of the ways that your dog asks for help. A lot of people don't recognize the different ways that dogs ask for help. Obviously, unlike people, they can't speak up and tell you exactly what's wrong. So sometimes it takes a little bit of detective work to figure out what's going on with your dog. 6 signs that you can look for that may mean that there's some underlying issue going on. The first one is excessive licking or grooming. Oftentimes, dogs that have wounds that aren't noticeable, they didn't get attacked by another animal or anything like that. Maybe they stepped on something. They're licking, they're excessively grooming their paw. Something's wrong even if you can't see it. That's also the case sometimes with skin infections and other issues like that. So be aware of that. It would come out of nowhere. It's not a dog that licks all the time. This is a dog that doesn't typically have that behavior, and then all of a sudden it starts. Number 2 is pacing or excessive panting. Dogs that are really stressed and anxious, sometimes that's how it comes out is a lot of pacing and panting. And this is really important with rescue dogs because a lot of people don't realize when they come into a new home, they think that the dog's just having trouble settling into a new home. But there's actually some kind of issue going on. Maybe it's some kind of anxiety or stress condition, but something's going on there. We actually had a dog and I took her to the vet, and the reason that, or the way that we found out and discovered that she had a heart condition was excessive panting. She was panting, and when she didn't settle down really quickly like normal, I took her to the vet and we found that out. So it could be something as serious as that. So be very aware of your dog's normal behavior, and look into it if something's a little bit different like that. Whining, that's a pretty common one. Some dogs are naturally whinier than others, kind of like human children. If your dog is typically kind of a whiner when they want attention, you may not notice it as much. Look at some of the subtleties in the way that your dog is whining, the times when they whine. Sometimes it's a different sound too. You kind of know your dog's regular whine when they want attention, but it might be more high-pitched, it might be drawn out longer, it may be different when there's something wrong with them and they're asking you for help. Destructive behavior, this is something, again, a lot of people see with rescue animals. I get asked all the time, why is this dog destroying everything? They're chewing everything. I watch them and they're just always picking up something that they shouldn't have. Sometimes this is a sign to show you that there's something else wrong. So that's the time when you would bring in a professional trainer or have a conversation with your vet and try to figure out what's going on. Again, anxiety, stress issues often show up in those ways with destructive behavior. A dog that's especially clingy, especially, as I mentioned, if it's not something that's normal. I have one dog that is especially clingy, and she seems to always follow me from room to room. She's always sitting next to me when I'm sitting down. She's always around. This is the dog that I step on all the time because I just can't get her out from under my feet. It's totally normal for Sadie. For some of my other dogs that don't do that, I would be wary of that. If they started, clinging to me excessively, that's a sign to me that something is wrong and they need help in some way. One of our puppy, Thor, he's a typical baby of the family, and when somebody takes the bone or the chew that he was eating, he will come and find me, and he'll be really, really clingy until I follow him, and he'll show me, speaking of Thor, here he is, and he'll show me who took his toy from him so I can go and help him get it back. So when your dog needs help, it does come out in some pretty silly ways. And finally, aggression, that's not normal. If you have a dog that's normally pretty docile, clearly I've got a few of those, if they're aggressive unnaturally and it comes on really quickly, that's a dog's natural instinct when they're hurt, when they're wounded. They are trying to protect themselves. They may be worried that you're going to hurt them even more if you're trying to look at the area. So if you notice any abnormal aggression, that's a sign that your dog actually needs some help, and that's the time when you should seek medical attention when it gets to that point, because you don't want to get into a situation that's dangerous. So those are my 6 ways that you can tell that your dog is asking you for help. And if you guys have any other questions, feel free to email me. Thanks for watching this video guide.